Hey everyone, it's Kariana, your favorite witchy coach. So today, guys, I'm going to be talking about blocks and resistance. And before I get started on that, I want to remind you guys that all of the information for sessions with me will be down in the description box below. Also, too, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so I can reach as many people as I can. I would love to help you guys on your journey, so please do not hesitate to reach out. And yeah, welcome, guys. If you're new, if you're coming back, welcome back. All right, so blocks and resistance, a really popular topic, gets brought up in session especially, but just, a lot of people talk about it, obviously, because we've all had blocks and resistance in one way, shape, or form, or we've all faced them at one time, and we're able to get over them, hopefully, and step into our I am state in order to manifest what we want, right? So blocks and resistance, sometimes they don't completely 1000% go away. I'm not saying that. Sometimes, when we bring in our manifestations, like I always say, a lot of times before things even harden into fact, we still have those blocks and resistance. But what's happening is that the blocks and resistance is now taking a back seat to, you believing in the new story. The new story is taking over. So your blocks and resistance, they may still be there, they may still be lingering, but they're taking a back seat, right? And that's why sometimes when people come to me and they go, Kariana, I was able to manifest a thing in, but it didn't stay. That's usually what's going on there, okay? I mean, that's just, one main topic that gets brought up a lot. So I just wanted to make that point really quick because I know that people are going to be watching this and going, well, I brought in my manifestation. Why wasn't I able to keep it? Blocks and resistance, guys. Sometimes they, like I said, they linger, we get our manifestation, and then all of our insecurities, i.e. blocks and resistance, start getting brought up again, because this thing hasn't completely hardened into fact, or we brought it in and we did not continue on our journey of really stepping into our power, staying in our power, until these things harden into facts and the new story completely takes over the old story. Now, guys, without going, into like all of the questions that I ask my clients, I will say that the two main questions that I ask them when they come to me with blocks and resistance that are heavy or that they're not sure on what is going on. They're like, I know I have blocks and resistance. I just don't know what they are. I know I have them because I still don't have what I want and I've been trying to manifest for a long time, or I just feel, like I keep thinking about the negative, but I don't really know what's impeding me. The two things that I ask my clients, okay, one would be, why don't you think that you can have this particular thing, whatever you're manifesting, the money, the job, the SP, anything, the house? Why don't you think that you can have this thing? Why? The first thing that comes to your mind, I always tell my clients, do not overthink this. Do not overthink this. Tell me the first thing that pops into your mind. Okay. That is your answer. Okay. The second thing is, okay, so the first thing is, why don't you think that you can have this thing? Okay. The second question is why don't you think you already have it? Okay. And so those are the two questions, the main questions that I ask my clients, because that's going to tell me a lot. And it also educates the client, because the first thing that pops up in their mind is the first thing that we need to really start working on. Okay. Obviously, I'm really, really good at spotting blocks and resistance. So I only need like summaries of the story and I can pretty much piece together what your block and resistance is. But if a client comes to me and they're just really not sure and they're stumped on what's going on, and I've been trying to manifest this thing in, and they're claiming that they're doing everything right, which you can't do this wrong, then those are the two questions that I usually ask them. Guys, I want you guys to understand that blocks and resistance are not something that we need to like hold on to or dwell in and talk about all the time. We just need to recognize the block and resistance, what is on the table, what is impeding us from having this, what is the running theme, the running thread of the story. And once we recognize it, we can be affirming that we no longer have that block and resistance, that particular thing no longer bothers us, that we no longer carry that story with us, even if it's something that came from childhood or, when you were a teenager. It's not something that we need to dwell in. It's just something that we need to recognize, bring to the forefront, and tackle. And it doesn't really matter how you do that. I always say, it doesn't matter if you're saying, your affirmations intentions mantra. It's all words, or if you're scripting, or if you're, recording your voice and recording a story and then listening to it in parrot, or, whatever helps you, stay really steady in your I am state. Doesn't matter how you're doing that. We just need to figure out what it is that's impeding you from having this manifestation. And then now that we know that, right, then we use these tools to help us get through the blocks and resistance. But it's not something that we need to dwell on. It's not something that we should continue to go back to. Because remember what I always say, whatever you keep putting your attention onto and you give it life, you're going to keep experiencing. You end up in that hamster wheel that I always talk about, right? Now, blocks and resistance can literally be living in victim state, living in ego, right? There's no way I'm going to get this because I've been trying to manifest this for ... So there's no way I'm going to get this. This is too hard, right? This person already told me ... So how am I ever going to get this? This person has never conformed to a thing that I've said before. I'm not seeing any movement in my 3D. No movement at all. So how can I have this? How can it be on its way? Okay. Ego. Victim mindset. I can't believe they did this to me. I can't believe they said this to me. I can't believe they keep doing this to me. I can't believe they've left me 5 times and now they're gone and they've been gone for weeks. I can't believe they blocked me. I can't believe that this person is acting like this. I can't believe this person said this to me, right? All ego. I can't believe victim. I can't believe this is happening to me. Okay. Because the thing is that when we live in those states, it's 100% a block and resistance, because us as creators, and I'm not trying to say that this is not natural to feel. Okay. But I always say, what do I always say? Where do we dwell, or where do we go next with it? Right. It's natural to feel these things, guys, because we're human beings and we're not robots, but we just cannot dwell there. We can't keep going back to these things, right? Because then it becomes a block and resistance. Okay. So ego mindset, victim mindset, block resistance. If we have listened to our parents or our parents say over and over again that they don't believe in love, love doesn't exist, love doesn't last, and they've never had a relationship that's lasted over 2 years, okay, or 6 months, whatever it is, right? Just really quick relationships in and out. They have a revolving door of partners. If you witness that your whole life, well, then more than likely you're going to carry a block, a block around relationships, and then you're going to have that resistance of thinking that you could have that successful relationship. Okay. Sometimes these things are very, very apparent and they're very in your face and you know exactly what they are and you just don't know how to tackle them. And that's what I'm here for, is to help you out with that. Sometimes these things are buried. Sometimes these things are things that we experienced when we were younger and we carried that with us into adulthood. And that's okay too. Like I said, it doesn't mean that those are less or, harder to get through or harder to break through than a newer block in resistance. They're all on the equal playing field, guys. And it's all about you making the rules and stepping into your I am state and saying, okay, I realize this maybe now that I talk to somebody about it, or I've realized this for years that I've had this block and resistance, and I'm no longer going to let it control me as a conscious creator. I'm going to no longer have it be my running theme, my story that I tell myself, the thread of all of my relationships, or the thread of my money story, or the thread of the fact that I'm never, ever really successful in anything that I do, or I can't carry that job. I lose jobs quickly. Whatever it is that you're trying to manifest and whatever the theme is, right? The running thread, the story that you've been telling yourself, you have to make the rules as a conscious creator and say, I'm no longer going to allow it to rule me and control me. I now know what it is. Now, what do I want to achieve? Okay. Or I now know what this is, and I'm trying to manifest this particular thing. What is going to help me on my journey to bust out of these chains that I've been kind of confined in for probably a long time now with this story. Okay. What am I going to do to flip this and change this and have that be the old me moving into the new me now, right? And that can simply be, I talk about this a lot, is I remember when. That can help you out, right? With a really strong mental diet. Because I don't believe in ignoring these things, saying they don't exist, trying to stuff and bury them. I don't believe in making an affirmation for that exact thing and bringing attention to it too. I always say that about 3P. I'm going to say it about this, right? Because it's anything that's impeding your manifestation from coming in. I don't believe in just stuffing it down and ignoring it, because usually what happens is that whatever we fear, right, it keeps having control over us because it keeps popping up. And then we can't really be the conscious creator that we are meant to be. We can't really step into our I am state and stay there. We might feel powerful some days, but then other days we don't. You know, we step in and out, in and out. And then what does that cause? Wavering. Okay. Now you're wavering a lot, right? You have to understand too that, and I talked about this in one of my shorts recently, is that wavering and bringing too much logic into manifestation can also cause a lot of blocks and resistance, right? Against what you're trying to manifest. Because we have to remember, guys, that logic or manifestation defies logic. It always has, it always will. Okay. The things that I have brought in my life, the things that my clients have brought into their life, what do I always say? I could not make this up if I tried. I really can't. The way that these things have all like pushed out and worked out and fell into place, and how this person moved to have this, or this, deal fell through for me to have this. It's amazing. That's what keeps me excited about my job and keeps me excited about what I do, because the stories are incredible. I mean, the things that I have witnessed, like I said, in my own life is incredible. So try your hardest to resist that bringing in so much logic into manifestation, because like I said, that can cause a lot of blocks and resistance too. Because what you're doing is that you're trying to like figure all of this out and say, well, I want this. So how can I make this happen? When can I make this happen? Well, I have so much that is against me because of ... or this person said this, or I saw these documents and it said, I'm never going to receive this. Right. Or the odds are against me because, 5 out of 10 people or 7 out of 10 people have tried to do this and failed. Right. Or maybe if somebody is sick and they go to the doctors and the doctor says, this isn't curable because 20% of people that have this or whatever, right? They don't come back from it, or I don't know, 20% is low, but you get what I'm saying, right? They give you like these percentages, and they give you all of these graphs and charts, and this, these are your odds. We've got to drop the bringing too much logic into this. Okay. It just really, really impedes a lot of our manifestations from coming in, because it causes a lot of blocks and resistance. We've got to get away from that. And then, wavering comes with everything that I just spoke of. It comes with all of that. Right. And so we have to just remember, guys, that blocks and resistance are easy to move out of. Okay. They're really easy to move in and out of. Right. And so we have to remember that just because we have a block and resistance on the table, don't let that discourage you. I don't want you to get discouraged, because everything is changeable and malleable. Everything, absolutely everything is changeable and malleable. What that person said to you the last time you spoke to them, what they have done to you, how many times they've blocked you, how many times you guys have broke up and got back together. Don't promote acting crazy in the 3D. I've already said that, right? We don't do that. But I'm just saying, doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter what this person said they did, how many times this happened, how many times this hasn't happened for you, how long you've been trying to manifest this. It just really, none of it matters. None of it matters, guys. So the next time that you're sitting there and you're thinking, oh, what is my block and resistance? Why don't I have this yet? Also pay attention to where you're putting your energy. Okay. And that's why I say we can recognize a block and resistance, and then we can move out of it that quick. We can recognize it that quick. We can move out of it that quick. Okay. Because whatever we dwell in, we're giving attention to, therefore we're giving life to, therefore we end up in that hamster wheel. Okay. So just remember that we can recognize these things. We don't have to fear it. Whatever you fear has control over you. We don't have to run away from it. We can just face it and say, oh yeah, I remember when I had that block and resistance about this and that. I remember when I had that story. I remember when I told myself that. I remember when I heard my mom say that. I remember when. But now I'm here, present day, in my I am state. I'm here, present day, knowing that my SP is absolutely head over heels in love with me. I know my SP thinks I'm amazing. I know my SP loves everything about me, head to toe, inside and out. They think I'm the most beautiful person in the world, right? They love everything about me. Okay. I know now, I remember when I was broke, but I know now that I am abundant. I know now that whatever I spend, I get back tenfold immediately, right? I remember when I was homeless. I remember when I was facing being homeless. I remember when I lost my home. But now, current day, I'm stepping into my new house. My beautiful new house is exactly what I wanted inside and out. I can picture it right now. Okay. I'm in my comfy home. I never have to worry about having it, right? So I just want you guys to take that with you. I don't want to make this video too long. I know that you guys wanted me to touch on blocks and resistance. And so here I am giving it to you. Blocks and resistance just do not have to be complicated. Recognize them and then let's move through them and let's create a new story that combats that, right? Let's take our mental diet and let's make our mental diet work for us. Okay. Let's flip these things, guys. I know you guys are powerful. What do I always say? Each and every one of you guys are powerful badasses. I don't have to know every one of you guys to know that. Okay. I am certain on that. And what do I always say? If I can get it, you guys will get it. My clients get it. That's my assumption. You guys are always successful, always powerful, and always manifesting instantly. Remember that these things happen in a moment, guys, in a second. Okay. The minute that we decide, that transmission is happening. And it is ours, right? Creation is finished. It's coming to us. Okay. It's already ours. So take that with you guys. And remember that I really love, love, love all of you guys. Take care and just step into your power as many times as you can a day. All right, guys. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.